Well, it's time now for our weekly tech feature. This week, we're talking about the controversy behind Facebook live streaming the Christchurch massacre. And then we've got Google's new game streaming service. Tech expert and publisher of Stuff magazine, Toby Shepherdson, joins us now for that conversation. Toby, thanks a lot for joining us on this public holiday. You woke up early.
I have a small child. My child's not even 2 years old, and he can say the word generator.
Oh, fantastic.
A child of the load-shedding generation, isn't he?
Well, and I'm sure that he's definitely tech-savvy, which brings us into this whole issue around, technology and the rules and the regulations and the governing bodies that need to be put in place. I mean, we're talking about this live streaming, of this Christchurch massacre.
Well, this week we're going to talk about streaming in two instances, the good and the bad.
Yeah.
And Facebook is under enormous pressure. I mean, if Mark Zuckerberg thought he had a bad year last year, he's had a really bad week with the departure of Chris Cox, who was considered the next CEO and the man who grew the news feed into what it was. And then there was this horrific Christchurch massacre. And what we've seen from that is that this really is an act of terror born of the internet age. Tweeted about, conceived about. His manifesto was posted to 8chan, and then he started live streaming this with a GoPro on his head. And I'm sure GoPro are mortified that their technology was used for this. But really what it shows us more than anything else is how difficult content moderation is. YouTube hasn't released figures, but Facebook has, and they said that video, which stayed up for hours and was available in all sorts of places and got used by traditional media,
and got reposted and got reposted and got spread, and people had to be arrested subsequently.
Exactly, and Facebook says it was uploaded 1.5 million times.
Sure.
That tells us 1.5 million people thought that was a good thing and wanted it uploaded. Facebook says they picked up 1.2 million before they were posted, while they were being uploaded. But it just shows us the problems with moderating content. And of course, that's what has brought Facebook down. The fact that you could manipulate the news feed, that Russian internet trolls.
Then also it's got the good side of it.
Other bad actors.
There are good sides of it. I mean, I know that the Christchurch massacre it's just absolutely horrendous. But where there's live streaming, there's also opportunity to share the good content, which may not necessarily get out there. Sure.
I mean, there's that wonderful Star Wars fan, the woman who put on the Chewbacca mask and had a really good laugh in her car and became famous and went to the Star Wars studios, Lucasfilm campus, and is, there are great examples of how this can be used. There are also examples where people have live streamed incidents with the police in America while things were happening.
Yeah.
So there is the plus and the negative. This has just really shown us just how easily technology can be manipulated for the dark side of humanity. And and I've been saying this for years. We've seen all sorts of terrible behavior on different platforms, from the early days of messaging like Mixit, all the way through to what we saw in Christchurch last week.
Well, it almost makes you wonder that if people are actually, technology is allowing for those individuals who are terrorists to actually get the fame that they want, because terrorism is also needs fame to actually manifest and feed them.
In the 70s, terrorists realized they could use television to get their message out.
And that's where we are. We've got an issue, though.
It is intrinsically not technology's fault. It is human nature, and technology just allows us to do things better, faster, and now to a huger audience without any kind of moderation. So let's look at another good example, which is streaming of games. Games have evolved in a way that most people who don't play them or don't understand them haven't known. You used to get games on a disc, or in the earliest days on a stiffy disc. Now you get it on CD or a DVD.
And I know that now Google has come onto it. We have to literally wrap up this conversation, but I think that in 30 seconds you need to just tell me.
So it's a streaming service called Stadia, and it takes over. There's another famous one called Steam, and that's how most people play their games. And it's just an evolution of the internet, isn't it? Because instead of having to have a physical disc or media, you can now do everything through the internet. And of course, Google wants you to do it through Chrome, which is their browser. They want to attract more people. Amazon bought Twitch, which was a service to watch other people playing games. Obviously, Google wants you to start doing that on YouTube.
Well, the gaming industry is here, whether we like it or not. Toby, we're going to have to leave it there for this morning. But thanks a lot for joining us and shedding some light in terms of exactly what is up with the tech world, tech expert and publisher of Stuff magazine, Toby Shepherdson, joining us. And now